my name OG1 Kenobi here. So how you guys doing?
Yep, OG1 Kenobi, one of the OGest of the Kenobis.
Yes, I am.
Here today to join us once again in another battle in a Star Wars fan film. Yes.
Right, and I don't run cowering either like you see in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Yes, I really almost want him to like a Scooby-Doo run or something, like when he sees Vader at first.
Exactly, that was so, there we go. You can do a parody with that one.
Exactly.
A meme, a joke, whatever you want to do with that. It's there for the ripe pickings.
There for the picking, folks. Today's Star Wars fan film is Dark Legacy, an unofficial Star Wars fan film by Anthony Pietro Monaco. Pietro Monaco. Man, these names are getting tougher every now and then for me. It's got yes, it's got like 1 million views. This was released in 2017. That's impressive. Nice. All right. Wow, lots of credits here. Damn. Okay. Wonder how many people are in this with all that. Okay, these are other cast, like other studio. Okay, not just characters. Okay, good. I don't like it when some short fan films have like 50 characters. It's like, no.
Yeah.
But all right, let's get it going.
Let's do this.
I like the more somber tone to start already.
Yeah.
Training is complete only with the death of the master or the apprentice. From Sorzin? What?
Yeah, Sorzis is Sin. Sin, yeah.
Okay. Nice little I don't get this arrangement in terms of space, but a huge planet, I assume 2 moons, and then 2 suns.
That's what I'm seeing too.
In the back, this looks really cool, but I'm just trying to understand because I'm a huge space guy. Yeah. And this looks weird, but it looks cool though.
The perspective, then you're looking at the perspective of like what's going on here. Is
that?
Yeah. Okay, well, let's see.
Okay, yeah. Looks great though. Okay, thank God those are ships or something, not suns. or light moving. I don't know. We'll see what they are. That was an awesome little transition onto the planet there. I like that.
Yeah.
A little chilly outside.
Yeah, and she's chained up. Okay, so was she waking up, finding out she's chained?
Maybe, I don't know. I think this is action. It's like, okay, going into the thing. But it looks nice though. It looks all right. I'm curious what's going on here.
Yeah. She looked like she was in a force meditation, but then she's chained up, and then like she came out of a force trance, kind of like from a heavy one, startling one. Something happened. Yeah, so let's go ahead and see what's going on here.
Looks like we have the Infinity Stones over here. Got some collecting the Infinity Gauntlet, I see. All right.
Yeah.
Kia Rasha Saikratsuli Maritor.
I trust you're well rested.
Are you ready for your final lesson?
That voice is pretty good. I like that. It's not your typical deep voice. It's got a little personality to it. A little bit. Ready for your final lesson.
They say the strongest hearts are made of kyber. One is very fortunate to have a legacy.
Ooh.
This one belonged to your brother. To live on as an instrument of the Force.
Okay, I'm liking this. A nice little setting
Okay.
here.
So is he referring to that as a kyber? Kyber, like if you go into the lore of that, kyber is a crystal that we seen in what novel was that? It's like the top of my head. It's that novel that was supposed to be the sequel to A New Hope if it wasn't a success. So those in the chat, please let me know what that is. But yeah. But if he's talking about that being a kyber, then why is it like pulsating and stuff
I'm
like
assuming that they just put him in there or something like to hold it or whatever, and cool visual for it.
Yeah, and then but then he's like kyber, but then he goes and touches that, so the person who is like watching this will think, oh, that's a kyber.
I suppose. I mean, the way that he said it, they're talking about past tense and how it was her brother's. I don't know. I kind of took it as this to me looks like it's holding something.
Yeah, maybe
like an egg or a sack or something. So like you can see the light in there in the center, and I'm assuming that's what the light is emitting in here, and that's the kyber itself. It's inside of this little structure. That's how I'm kind of seeing it.
Maybe we'll find out.
To live on as an instrument of the Force. It's beautiful. Don't you agree?
Yeah, because he's just pulled one out, and they're probably about to slice this open right here. Yep.
Ooh.
I like his mask too. It's well, I mean, sort of. I mean, it looks a little weird in terms of like functionality, but it looks interesting as design. It doesn't look like it was a regular Star Wars mask that's already been around, or as far as I can't tell, it's not from anything in the lore. You could tell me if it looks like it in a sec.
It's giving me Revan vibes, but I'm not sure exactly because I didn't play a lot of games, and so like a lot of like the old Republic games, I'm not. I know some of the lore and stuff like that enough to like have a conversation with someone, but game wise and stuff like that, I have never played. So
yeah, that's not a Revan one. No, Revan's one is way more simple.
Exactly.
There's a lot of different grooves. There's a thing going down the center.
Mm-hmm.
Looks closer look. There looks like there is like eye socket, or at least one. It's got a weird forward-facing design to it, but I know I like that. It seems like they might have made this themselves, as far as I know. So yeah, I like that. And yeah, it seems like the crystal's on the inside of the little fleshy bit right here, which also looks kind of cool. It looks like whatever effects they used to make this little thing. Looks nice.
Yeah, it looks like almost like a horror. We're getting into some kind of horror.
It looks like this is from a xenomorph planet, right. Alien or something, man. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good right here.
Yeah.
Curious creatures. They're almost all that remains of this place. They harvest the energy of their host and channel it into this, into one tiny crystal.
That's interesting. An interesting way to put it, I suppose. But
yeah,
I don't know the context of that specifically, but that sounds spooky.
From the day I found you, I knew you were special, Gia. The Force is strong in the lineage of the Jedi, after all. But you could be so much more. What will your legacy be? Will you become my greatest achievement?
I like that his lightsaber isn't red for once. Just having to sit just for once, not just happen to have a red one.
Yeah, and you're not giving. We're not having like this Jedi apprentice thing. We're having more of a dark side kind of, relationship here. And I wonder if this is kind of going off of, the beginning of the Jedi, I guess you can say. Like as they started splitting into factions where it goes into, light and dark and eventually Sith kind of deal. I wonder. And then looking back at the kyber crystal type thing,
Mm-hmm.
they're supposed to be living crystals, but I think that they're originally found in like grown in the ground, like how like regular crystals, like within caves and stuff. So I wonder
Right.
if this was, and I could be wrong, but because Disney lore has brought in the kyber crystal as a living thing, okay, and
Hmm.
so I wonder if they took the initiative to have it grow in a pod like it is because it's living. I don't know. So I'm looking into that as we're watching this because I want to be kind of accurate because I never really explored the kyber crystal in Disney lore.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
regardless, I feel like the way that they showed it here seemed pretty
Yeah.
interesting. And as far as the description of a kyber crystal, other than growing out of the ground, seems like it somewhat fits. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I like the way how you described that it like takes the energy of a life form and puts it in there. Essentially, it's like that's a way to explain, I guess, how it. I mean, or you can already. There's plenty of different things you could do with it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the horror aspect of it, like it drains
Yeah.
you or something, or
Yeah.
and
This
they can
has,
harness it like that. That kind of that could give extra meaning to a lightsaber if you use something like that. I don't know,
and I do
maybe.
have before you click on that, true
Sure.
kybers were only found in veins of pure kyberites. If the crystal contained impurities, it was regarded as false kyber. So basically, they're found in like ores called kyberites.
Okay.
Yeah, so a little history there, but like this lends to the, it being alive, like how Disney is doing with it now, and like being sentient basically is what they're saying that these kyber crystals are. So it, being maybe the heart of some kind of pod, I don't know, and given the like the fear factor, the creep factor that they did, I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
It's weird if they call it sentient to me because it's like a plant is alive, but it's not like it's there. It
Mhm.
absorbs energy, but it's not like I don't. When people say sentience, I assume it has like coherent thought of some kind. Even if it's an animal, that's like, ooh, I'm gonna eat grass. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that or something.
Yeah.
When they say
Yeah.
that, but I don't know. I still like how that's going so far. Nice and good.
Or will you live on in another way?
I like how he's kind of given, yeah, as you said, the dark side guy is giving his apprentice here a choice and whatnot.
Mm.
It's a different position than we normally see with
Yeah.
Star Wars stuff for once, and it's not always just use your anger. And if I hear that one more time in a fan film, just just because it's such like a, it's not saying that it's a bad type of line, but when you have something repeated over and over and over and over and over again,
It just stops losing meaning. It loses
just
meaning. It loses
yeah,
its meaning and its
yeah.
impact. Yeah.
There's only been a couple that have like really like taken words that are said in the Star Wars stuff and like but you changing them around, saying something different, but it's meaning a similar thing. And
Hmm.
those were done well too. I'm like, wow, it's kind of making a different point, but sort of using the same type of wording, but saying something different. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
good. Good job.
From a certain point of view. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
The force is balance.
Did he
For light to
hit the
exist,
chains? Did he hit the chains and then it didn't cut through?
I think I think she was trying to cut her chain and it did not cut through. No.
Okay.
I
Maybe
mean,
it's made of Mandalorian iron then, maybe?
possibly. Let me rewind this.
It's not stated, but
I mean, to me, I would assume that there's a couple materials that a lightsaber
there
can't
are.
cut through, probably. So
Yeah, cortosis is one, but that will make like it'll basically turn off the saber. It'll like make a huge surge and it'll turn off and deactivate. And
okay,
then Mandalorian armor basically it does a lightsaber can't penetrate that. So it has to be one of those type of things because if he has her chained up and he allows her to have her lightsaber, of course she's going to get herself out of that situation, right? So it's only common sense to have some type of iron or ore for the chain that is resistant to lightsabers.
right.
Hmm.
or will you live on in another way.
Yeah, she tries to cut it herself, and yeah, it
Mhm.
doesn't work here.
Well, at least they
Balance.
show, like, at least they show the effort and show it doesn't work because, like I said,
Yeah, otherwise she'd be like a classic horror victim or something. That's like, oh, well, I grab the knife and do this, cut my cuffs or something. Will I grab the key to my handcuffs, or will I, grab the baseball bat or something? Like,
right.
oh,
But
okay, you're still
my
chained.
point,
Okay.
yeah, my point is like here, like when I'm just gonna compare this in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show
Yeah.
series, where he hits the stormtrooper in his front armor and the lightsaber bounces off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they are not equipped to, like, their armor isn't lightsaber proof.
Yeah, it's never been lightsaber proof.
Yeah, so
From based on how they seem, it seems like it's cheap armor because like one shot usually kills them. So
exactly. And with
yeah.
this, I'm praising this because it's given attention to detail to where
Yes.
she's hitting it and it's showing that it's not being effective. And whereas you look at that show, when he hits the armor, it just bounces off. Like there's no like, oh, well, there has to be a reason, whatever. It's just like something that I would say that the producer, the director, the team didn't catch
Mm-hmm.
or didn't want to explain for the.
They probably didn't want to show a stormtrooper getting sliced in half or something, so they.
Well, when the gate can slice someone in half in that one episode.
Okay, you're right. Okay, I don't know. That's a good point. I was trying to give Disney a leeway, but they've already shown that they can do something else. So there you go. So
Yeah,
that's a great point. That's a great point.
Yeah.
They also kind of half show a youngling get killed too. They don't show him directly get cut, but like you see the top part of the kid, you see Anakin do a slice, you see the kid's body go, like you see him flail, like you just got sliced in half. Wow, all right.
Okay, yep.
I like to how he says the force is balanced, a very common Jedi thing to say, and coming from a somewhat Sithy guy over here.
For light to exist, there must also be darkness. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power.
I like too, he's kind of winning these little tiny sparring matches, showing he's quite dominant in this type of regard, but he's giving her the lesson as it's going. She's listening to it and going with it. So again, using the classic Sith type of talking you in, but not repeating the same line said in the films. So
right.
That's good. What do you think about like the little lightsaber little dust or little I don't know what you call that. I think that's a nice little touch visually. It's like it's not I don't know if it sparks, but
yeah, I like it, but then I don't because
it's never been like done before.
Yeah, and then to me, because the light is being held in by plasma, does that mean that it's getting weakened or whatever? And that's the problem I had with like Kenobi, was the fact that every time the lightsabers hit, there were sparks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, I can get the gesture. Like, this is not as extreme as you see with and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hark on the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, but that's just an example that came to my mind because it's fresh during this time that we're recording or we're doing this. Yeah. And yeah, so but with this, we have a little bit of dusting, which maybe could make sense, but like the sparks does not make sense.
Yeah, I think it doesn't make sense, but I think it looks cool though. Like it's one of those where you take one, you got to admit one thing, and you can also admit another. It's like, yeah, it looks nice, but it doesn't really make sense based on what we've seen before. But yeah. And especially for the nighttime setting they got here, like it adds a little to it. But for all we know, there's an explanation for it. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, these lightsabers are freshly made, so I don't know, shaking it off. I don't know, cracking the shell. I don't know if that would make any sense either. But there we go.
Through power, I gain victory.
I hate how he's holding the saber. This position is just don't have much you can do with that.
Oh, does it have reverse grip on it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looks like
very,
looks
very
like a reverse grip to me from there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because it's like, she could easily kind of now get an advantage on you.
Yeah, she could slice his wrist and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just very, it looks cool to pose with sometimes, but ultimately that is just one of the worst positions to have a weapon. If you ever watch
Mhm.
Shadiversity, like he explains this in high detail.
Yeah.
He's a huge weapons guy, and looking at the
Yes.
lightsaber stuff, it's just like, man, especially with how the lightsabers are, and there's no, handle guard or anything to
Yeah, there's no
protect you
cross guard on it.
with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's no cross guard. It's like, man, you're more vulnerable like that.
Yeah, you could slide your blade down and slice their fingers, and there you go.
Yeah, just she needs to go done.
Yep.
Clip.
Mhm.
But again, this looks good right here.
Mhm.
The editor must have loved going through this frame by frame. I imagine.
Yeah.
Victory.
Through victory, my chains are broken. That correlates to what we see because she's in chains.
Right. So going on a Sith analogy.
What was that?
I said going on a Sith saying a Sith analogy, but the thing is, it's like it almost reminds me because he's like there is balance. But I'm looking at the Gray Jedi code that there is because some people made it exist. It's like Gray Jedi is not a thing; it's not canon or whatever. But
Right.
it almost harkens to that in a sense because like there is balance. But then he goes on to the Sith montage, which tells me that he's seducing her, that he's confusing her.
A little bit, I would say. Yep. Well, it seems like he's expressing from his perspective. It's like, the light shines brighter if there's darkness, essentially, to meet it. It's like if it's just light alone, it's just light. You can't recognize it. It seems so for balance, you need to have some darkness to there's the light. That's what I would take from it, I guess.
Yeah, but that's kind of like a Gray Jedi thing. But then when you look at I'm just gonna go there, the Disney trilogy with Snoke, he basically says, the dark or the dark is like
the way that they say it is stupid. But I like the way that this guy's saying it because he's not saying that one will just automatically rise and meet and blah blah blah. It's like he's just saying it just seems like with him, this guy, he's saying to have an actual balance, there needs to be some type of darkness with it. So you can create a darkness, not necessarily that there must be a darkness,
Yeah.
That's what I'm taking anyway.
Yeah, and the thing is, and this is just a fan film, so I'm like, I'm trying to be sparingly with what they're doing here and stuff. And like on my critique and everything. But when you look into the lore and stuff, George has always reiterated that the light side is the balance.
Yeah.
But I get the analogy here. Like when there's dark, there's always going to be light. As long as there's light, it can overcome the dark and stuff. And that's even at the end of Revenge of the Sith novel, there's a little expert of that saying like with all the darkness, you only need one candle of hope, basically. I'm like paraphrasing that, but it's a beautiful saying.
Well, and I would take it as, George will say that's what it is in the universe. But as far as the characters in the universe are concerned, there's not a specific definition. Each character will have their own version of what they think is balance, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to,
You get into the Old Republic with Kriya and stuff like that, and she goes off on a whole different other tangent with it. A lot of people like her because she does, and she sees the Force and Jedi and Sith all in a huge different way. But she's not my favorite character, and people are like, "What?" And I'm like, "Sorry to break it for you."
There's a lot of interesting characters to pick from in this whole universe thing.
Exactly. And I get what she's saying, and I get that she's there to manipulate. And this is what I see is that this is manipulation here.
Yeah. Manipulator, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
My chains are broken. The Force shall free.
Oh.
Okay, a lot of stuff happened right there a little quickly. So it looked like, I assume he used the Force to unlock her chain with that.
Is that what happened?
I think so, because he said something, the Force will free me or something. Or break. I forget exactly what he said right there. And then it went poop. And she looked at her wrist.
I didn't. Yeah. He did a Palpy then and unchained her like Palpy did Luke.
Pretty much, which is kind of funny because that does make you think, well, if she's chained, is she unable to use the Force?
Right,
with
because
this.
or is she, yeah, or is she like Luke, where he's still, still kind of green in the Force, I guess you could say, as a Jedi, and it wasn't that strong enough to release himself from the bondage
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I would say right here she's probably, especially at this state, it seems like, it's your final lesson. She's probably been through hell at this point. So,
Probably. Hmm.
whatever she could have done, maybe she can't right now. And, maybe in a way that he got her to this point and is trying to, this is how he can get her to, embrace
Yeah.
more of the dark aspects of stuff. You've
Hmm.
relied on the light so far. How's that working
Yeah.
out for you? It isn't? Well, here's this. And he's showing her literally with it. I'm kind of liking how they're doing this. Again, for a short film, I like it when they can have enough substance in a short amount of time with visuals and dialogue and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's doing pretty good so far in terms
What
of
did
that.
you? How did you like what? Because when they were blades were locked together, his saber basically looks like they have some kind of energy field going around it, where hers is just basically standard.
Yeah,
Did you?
I noticed that earlier when he was first igniting that. It looked like, the energy kind of fluctuating with it, and hers, yeah, seemed standard. I don't know what to think about it specifically. I don't know what lore stuff would say about lightsabers that do that, but to me that would say either his is more power. I have no idea what it comes to lightsabers, honestly. like because to me they're just laser weapons that you can just poke and kill somebody, but they also
It's
swing them around like bats sometimes, and then it's like as if they're heavy. So I don't know. Uh,
okay. So like I can't speak for Disney lore because I haven't got into the exploration of their sabers, and all that stuff. But like, if you have a saber that is emitting crazy power like that, that means your saber is unstable and it can explode on you. So like, I recommend reading what is it called, Shadows of the Empire,
mhm,
where Luke constructs his green saber, and this happens right before Return of the Jedi.
mhm.
And it's even told to him by Kenobi in the journal that's left for him for training and guidance and all this other stuff. Yeah, because in the actual real lore, Kenobi does prepare to train him and leaves him a journal and stuff like that, and how to construct a lightsaber. That if it's not constructed right, if it's not put together right, it can basically disintegrate you. Basically, it can explode and disintegrate you. And that was one thing that Luke was kind of in fear a little bit, like, okay, R2, we're gonna go ahead and ignite the saber. I'm gonna practice with you, but this would be embarrassing if the first ever Jedi to return basically takes himself out after, for not,
Yep,
putting together his lightsaber, right?
that would be
you
funny. That would be a little embarrassing. Obi-Wan would be like, "Oh my god, my apprentices! Jesus Christ!"
know,
Always
right?
always doing this to themselves, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, if your saber is unstable and stuff like that, it's a problem. So
I assume this is just a visual thing that looks
yeah.
cool, and maybe it's some type of maybe he's put a lot of work into his saber, and maybe in this version it's like a stable
Hmm.
unstable one. I don't know,
Yeah.
with extra energy flowing through it. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem like there's a difference as far as striking another lightsaber yet. Switches to the bad position. No,
And
no.
then like turning, like spinning like that, like
Yeah, it's spinning. No, he could have just sliced you up. I feel
yeah,
like at this point, though, neither of them are actually trying to kill each other. But I would think that she would be trying to kill him.
right, for being
I would,
tortured
I would
probably.
think she would. Yeah, I would think she'd be trying to kill him, and he's not trying to kill her. But I don't know. Yeah, she's like, the hell was that? That's
Yeah.
what that looks like. But all right. Now I know he's getting into her mind.
Oh my god. Okay, that's not a rock. Did you see that?
What was that?
Rewind it. That's not a rock. It's a face.
Oh, it is a face. We were right.
Yeah. Look at that. Because she
Uh,
hears something in her head, and she's like, "What the
Oh,
hell?"
her brother. Like that's probably her brother because he mentioned her brother.
I don't know.
Let's see what they do here.
Do you remember his death? Do you remember watching him suffer as he tried to save you? He was weak.
Okay, what was that?
feel like that kick was kind of funny. But,
yeah, I was like, what was that kick for?
But
like,
I think
it's good, and then that kick was like out of nowhere, like and nothing.
I assume she's just at this point she's just doing whatever she thinks she can.
She's flailing because she's scared.
I assume because she's like and all this stuff. Nothing's been going right for her. It seems up to this point anyway. So just whatever she thinks can work. She hasn't had one line of dialogue yet, but
not yet.
Emoting pretty well.
Yeah.
And considering he has no face to emote from, so
yeah, she's just showing emotion and stuff. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. The underhand thing again. God damn it! Stop doing that! Stop doing that! It's annoying me every time now. It was such a useless strike. What was that gonna do? Like this? What's that gonna do? You just.
But Kylo Ren is the one that, and then Ahsoka are the ones that made that popular. We never seen it until then.
I know Ahsoka is like, she has her double one with it. I mean, at least with 2, that's sort of still not really. Still bad. Still very bad as far as
you don't have much control of that, and you leave yourself a lot more open.
It's like I can deflect the bolts very well with this movement rather than just this. I can do a lot with your wrists like this. But can't with this.
And then if you do it wrong, you can impale yourself too.
When they're at rest, you're just holding them up to your shoulders. That's not great. I feel like when you move them around, you're at risk of hitting your people next to you more than when it's like this, and you can control where it's going. Yikes, man! All right, hope they don't do that again in this one. I'm loving everything. I'm loving everything about this except for that move. That's the only thing I don't like. Yeah.
Ouch!
Smacker. This film is going to be taken down by progressives if they see it. Smack a woman.
And an Asian woman at that.
Exactly, man. Oh, double duty. Nope.
There we go.
As you out now.
Well, that's not bad. Like the sliding up the thing. That
actually makes sense. I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often in lightsaber fights because there's nothing to stop the blades from doing that. So
yeah, and even sliding down to take out the arm or something and the shoulder.
That was a nice little shot. However, some of his strikes confuse me if he is trying to kill her or not, because if she's weaker and everything, and he's doing these like shots toward her torso, she misplaced a step, cuts her in half.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Okay. Just getting down with herself, maybe connecting with the force.
Impressive.
Okay, I like the tone shift here, and does
she have the mask?
I don't think she has the mask.
No, rewind it. Wait, no, she doesn't. That's him. He's got the.
No, that's him. Yeah, she struck him, and then she disappeared.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then all I seen was like the hair, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's gonna disappear in a sec. Right there. Turns the lightsaber off. And I guess he can't see where she went, even though she clearly went the other way. But that was kind of weird. Just turn them off. Okay, no, just kidding.
They're playing with each other in the force. That's what I'm guessing, and using the force to detect each other, using the lightsabers to see each other, not see each other. And I'm going to go ahead and refer this back to was novel called Allegiance, where Mara Jade, and this is like probably after A New Hope, I believe. But Mara Jade is like Vader is wanting to capture Leia, and this I referred to this on Twitter about Obi-Wan Kenobi, about how he's using Leia as bait for something. Vader wants to capture Leia so he can get to Luke, because he knows that is the way. And then Mara basically is looking for something totally different. Something else is going on, and she has a mission or whatever. And they have a confrontation in a meeting room, I guess you can say, quote unquote meeting room. And she realizes that Vader can't adjust quickly with his helmet to like the light going from light to dark. And they're starting to duel, so she gets the lights off so that she can have a slight advantage, towards him. And then he would have to adapt through his, visual, his mask and stuff like that. And very interesting little match there. This kind of reminds me of that because they're using the play on dark and using the light of the sabers, blah, 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 blah. So
yeah. It's a definitely different style than we typically see in film form. So
yeah,
nice.
Okay.
Okay, what the hell?
What happened? Rewind that again.
There's 2 other lightsabers that just lit up right there.
Okay.
Like 2 other people. 1, 2. So there's 3.
So there's 3 of him, because look at that.
That's what I'm saying. And they seem to just appeared there. So
yeah.
I don't know. Let's see what they're doing here. This could be a simple force thing, like I see this in Dragon Ball kind of things. They can like multiply, kind of multiply each other, or divide their power into. So, I don't know.
Oh God, let's not go that way. Let's not make the force.
I know. I'm just saying this is what my head goes to that, but I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see what that is.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, hold it right.
Like Disney Star Wars, where you just nick them and
It's what?
I said, it's just like Disney Star Wars, where they just like slice you with the saber and you're fine, like nothing falls off.
I guess. I mean, Obi-Wan technically got hit with Dooku in that.
Yeah.
Like in his arm, he got nicked in the arm and leg and was fine.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty much.
I'm just had to laugh at that.
But this is, I didn't see this going this direction. All right. Huh. I mean, it's visually cool, but I feel like this is defeating the purpose of what this guy wants. But
yeah,
I don't know. Let's see what happens. Okay, there's more. Okay, well, that's getting a little ridiculous.
Okay,
now.
So they're multiplying. What the hell's going on?
It's getting a little ridiculous here.
Yeah, it's like you're getting it's over exaggeration just for the sake of drama.
I don't know. I feel like this will be which one's the real one kind of thing. Like you were saying, like a vision thing. Maybe some of these won't even hurt her, but it's enough to get her off off guard, like very confused. Maybe.
Yeah. And then I will refer this. Pause it real quick.
Yeah.
I will refer this back to was it called Betrayal from Legacy of the Force, where Jason Solo is getting seduced to the dark side by Lumaya, I guess you could say. And so they do forced projections of like Sheep force projects Jason to fight Luke where he's at. And then they also force project a Ben Skywalker to Mara where they're at, and there's a duel there. So there's these illusions going on, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm. No, they do it in TLJ as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, these guys didn't die from force projection.
I know.
We're using the force. That's the thing. That's the whole problem. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I'm looking at these. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's like 10 right here in this small area. There's like 10, and there's all these. So I'm assuming they'll all go away in like a second. Like she'll just do one swish, and half of them are gone. But let's see what happens here.
Yeah. really burns. We're gonna start dancing.
What was that?
You know how they all like pivot their sabers to go the same way? I said, so are they gonna start dancing?
Yeah, it's the Galactic Olympics, of course. This is all just the opening. It's just the opening, thing for it. That's all.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm like taking the tension.
You're good. Oh, they're all gonna lose now. They're holding their sabers wrong. Yeah, that's all I can say. They're all doing it this way again. They're all gonna lose that way.
All of them. Use your minds.
It's in unison. In unison. I am.
It's a rave. It's a force rave going on. It's a lightsaber rave going on. Pretty soon you're gonna have the disco song coming in.
You're bringing the DJ. Get it all going. Wow. Wow. Okay, I was really loving this, man. This has gotten weird though, but I mean, okay, we just gotta go through this. Okay, I figured. Okay, thank God. Okay,
You're like, yeah.
I was like, this must just be a like visual confusion for her.
Yeah,
and, okay. Otherwise, it's like silly beyond belief. But I'm glad it was this. So can you, if she strikes at the wrong one, that's where she could be killed essentially. So you pick the right one, and well, he's gonna be fine because he got stabbed in the stomach. So we know that that's totally walkawayable from. And you'll be fine.
Stabby in the stomach, you're fine.
And according to Kenobi, that's especially, more than one character gets stabbed in the stomach and they just walk it off later. So
yeah, just walk it off. It's okay. You got the Force. Just walk it off.
Even in Mando, they had Ming-Na Wen get shot in the stomach, and that was like a huge deal. And like she had to get mega taken care of or something. And
yeah, because she didn't have the Force. That's why. But they still took care of her.
Yeah, it's like it was still dumb that she survived it, but at least it wasn't like, oh, she's fine. It was like it was a big deal, like a whole episode to get her healed up. So
yeah,
that was something. But anyway, okay, you redeemed yourself, fan film. I was gonna give you some dock some points if it was ridiculous. There you go. And it's her brother, maybe.
I'm guessing it is.
Oh.
Sina. Nario Sinasha.
Now, my young apprentice, your training is complete.
Training Ashi-esque. God.
You are mine. I like the little music cue as she raised it. Oh, he gone.
So look at so pause it here when she shows the saber, like when we get to see that saber.
Like you want me to go forward or go back?
It doesn't matter as long as we can see the saber. Oh wait, I don't think we're gonna see his. Okay, right there. Right there. All right, so see how that saber is constructed and the kyber crystals on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
When Disney reinvented how the lightsaber was invented in the lore, that's basically what it is. It's like connected to some kind of stick or whatever, and then you have the kyber crystal. I'm not shitting you.
That sounds like so that when they sell them at their theme parks, it's like, look, it's a glow stick thing, just like you see in our shows and our movies. But I do like in this fan film how they showed when he was constructing her lightsaber, it seemed to be the old-fashioned kind. Like put it in, the kyber crystal in the thing, and it's a normal one.
Oh, you mean the new stuff compared to this? Like it's like, oh, we're showing the evolution, because with this, like I said, I had a problem with this once they reinvented the lightsaber, because the Sith invented the lightsaber as we know today, like we see Jedi use in the original lore.
Yeah.
But it did evolve. They used to have like armor, like our regular blades, and then it went into like the crystals and the plasma type blade, and then it's connected to a power pack, and then eventually evolved into what we see today in the original lore. But in the Disney lore, it's like now, connected to some kind of stick, I guess you could say, and they're kyber crystals on the outside. I don't know how they're making it turn into plasma, emitting the energy, what have you. I don't know. All I know is that's the beginning of their lightsaber.
Yeah,
it's so primitive.
Based on what this fan film showed, at least from what I'm taking from it, is like that his lightsaber is an older model, even though it's like the new Disney type, and then like hers is like going to be the newer, like better version or something.
Mm-hmm. And it almost has like a Darth Bane, Darth Zana kind of feel in a sense, to where, she has to kill her master like the Rule of Two, which we know that really doesn't exist in the new lore now, where you have to kill your master to become a master. But then I'm also confused because she doesn't seem like she wants to be a Sith, or she wants to go dark, that she wants to be.
And she didn't really kill him, it seemed. She stabbed him in the tummy and then he disappeared, but he's a Sith, sort of. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a Sith either. He didn't explicitly say he's a Sith. He just said the dark side, or that the light needs darkness. That's pretty much all he said. He didn't really specify.
But the actions are very dark.
He was saying the passions, the strength, the power, which is Sith qualities, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's see how this ends out here.
Okay.
Our glow stick of destiny.
And it looks like statues behind her. Did you notice that?
What was that?
It looks like there's some kind of like statues behind her. Remember, we're trying to figure out that face or whatever. See, look at there, all of them right there.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, these are statues. Yeah. Oh yeah, looks like there's more than one. Yeah.
Yeah.
One there.
So I'm trying to figure out, and I can't really see them clear, if there's any hearken to any of the old past Sith or Dark Jedi from the old times there. I don't know.
Too dark. It's too darkly lit for me to really get a good look at that. But I just heard chuckling a second ago, so you guys around.
So we don't know what exactly happened, other than he's happy how things happen because he's chuckling.
Well, he disappeared before she could kill him. So
based on original characters by George Lucas. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out where this is from, or if he just put that disclaimer in there.
I don't know.
Okay.
But that was I enjoyed that. There's a little I was a little worried there for a minute, and I hate the reverse grip.
Yeah.
I hate the reverse grip. That's just not a good way to fight.
Yeah.
But man, the lighting director on that, or the lighting staff must have, whoever was aligning all the shots and the lighting for it, my God, they must have had a field day trying to get those set up. like that must, because I assumed that was the main thing they're trying to get down, was the visuals, because I mean, this relies on that in a way. Like, if this was like in like a cloudy setting or daytime, or just a poorly lit nighttime, this wouldn't have been as impactful, I would think. And the girl had no dialogue, which actually worked for a benefit in a way, because it's responding off of whatever he's saying. His face wasn't shown that whole time, so it's just his voice that's doing it. I kind of like that style right there. That's,
menacing, and then her emotions are emitting what's going on. So that was like, without the dialogue from her and stuff, it still worked very, very well, because if she wasn't in tune with her emotions and she wasn't a good actress for her emotions and stuff, it would not work.
Yeah,
it would not work.
That was done well there. I like that.
Yeah. Is there like a little synopsis for this other than the credits?
That's what I'm trying to look at.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Story by them, producer, credits. Special thanks.
Show
Nope.
less. And then what do they have to say with that? Yeah, it's old. This is something that would be in the old republic. So that's what I guess too. This is like an old republic going back, more than 3,000 years or so. And like I said, the lightsaber that he carried harkens to the Disney lore lightsaber versus what we see evolve in the original lore. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they made a couple of other fan
Yeah.
films here.
Like there's the teaser for that.
Event to remember. They seem to be unrelated to Star Wars. These other ones, but
Yeah. So this is very much like got inspired by George, and went their own, created their own separate like scenario with that. That's what I'm guessing, which is fun because you get these what ifs, and sometimes these what ifs are more refreshing than getting these rehashes.
yeah,
Or
I think the key is using a time period and knowing what's around in there, and then inserting something of your own that you can kind of fit in there that doesn't break something, but can fit. It could almost explain something.
Yeah, exactly. So you still have a little bit of like, like continuity to where like, I understand the lore and stuff, and let's go ahead and I have this idea in my head that can play out. Maybe this did happen somewhere inside the lore that we don't know about. And so I think that was well done, especially with her responding without talking, just with the emotions, the body weight, the choreography with some of the lightsaber like techniques and stuff like that could have been a lot better. The reverse grip.
Some of it was a little flashy.
Yeah, you have to have that little flashy, like I think one of the better ones that are from the movies, like the duel was basically the duel of the heroes, so are Anakin versus Obi-Wan on Mustafar. I think that's one of the better, and Nick did really, really well with that. Yeah, so that's the better ones, and I think the one from Return of the Jedi in the throne room with Luke and Vader was another one. You know, I can understand like having certain spins and turns for like, especially for the PT era, because they're using the Force, they're more trained in the Force. We'd see them at the prime and stuff like that. So yeah,
in the if you watch Shadiversity's autopsy of the fight scene of Revenge of the Sith, he explains like a lot of the spins they do and twirls are like with purpose with them. Like Obi-Wan especially does a lot of them in the Revenge of the Sith one, where he like will clash and turn, but he's like doing a block reverse thing, momentum, and to a swing,
the reverse
strike of some kind. And so
the flurry like, that goes from behind.
And like the spins that he does is to gain momentum essentially with each spin. So he's able to block. He's holding it in front of him still, and he's not just like, I'm turning all the way around, la di da. Like in the first in the first Jedi fan film that we watched, where they'd turn around just immediately just run away.
Yeah.
This was really good. The setting for it, I mean, considering also it was very darkly lit the entire time, but there was enough light to see what's going on. I will admit though, if I had my light off for the green screen behind me, I think I would have been able to see this better. A little bit. It was that dark, but the lights that they use with it is really well done. The effects on the lightsabers looked really good. I like there's the difference between their lightsabers, his being the more crazy energy, hers being the more sleek original, but he also seemed to construct both of those lightsabers. And I like the organic goo thing that the kyber crystal was in, and how he's given some information on it, and he's teaching her, and so he's giving information to her and the audience, and like it's just his voice and you don't see his face, and it's just her face, you don't hear her voice, and it's like just a very good way of doing that. And I was a little worried with the reverse grip stuff, and then when there's a whole bunch of him, I was like, oh, this could be really dumb.
Rookie's gonna get triggered with all these people coming up with reverse grips all around. It's like, no.
Out of all the positions, that's probably the worst one I can think of. I don't know, unless you have one where you hold the blade itself, but then I don't know, that'd be more ridiculous. I'll hit you with the hilt,
And that's I think that's the problem with these fan films, is that they go with the most popular poses from the Jedi and Sith that they see on screen or read about or
Mm-hmm.
see in like the Clone Wars, like the Ahsoka reverse grip,
Yeah.
and or then the Obi-Wan Kenobi his sorcerer
Yeah.
stance.
His
Mm-hmm.
thingy,
Yeah.
which that's probably the simplest one to do out of
Mm-hmm.
all of them. But yeah, doing that again, I feel like in this one it wasn't for posing; it was for their like doing a different choreography. But
Yeah, and
you
it
know,
kind of looked cool in the moment, and that seemed right to them in a sense.
it also seems like if you have to twirl your lightsaber around at all, that's a really risky move in the middle of a fight. Like
Mm-hmm.
to change the grip like that while you're fighting, like ooh, that's a what if it flies out of your hand or something when you're
Yeah, or what if they use the
in the middle of
force
doing it.
as you twirl it back to its original grip? They use the
Yeah.
force to get out of your hand or whatever. There's so much to think about like that. I mean, but we could sit there and analyze this. I wonder if they did. That's the
Well, yeah,
question. I wonder if
but
they
did
did.
did you like their visual force that they used? The little force pushes that showed visually, and it was reflective of their color of their kyber crystal.
I didn't notice the reflective of the color of the kyber
Well, no,
crystal,
no, no,
which
no, no. When they used the force, like he, or
uh-huh.
like when he force pushed, it was like a green aura. When she force pushed, it was with the yellow aura.
Yeah, I like the fact that they allowed us to see the visual, especially in the dark, because
Mm-hmm.
then it wouldn't have translated very well unless you used the sound for it. Like when you listen to Audible for like some of these books and stuff, when someone uses the force push or whatever, you hear that kind of deal and then clunk
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, and it
Yeah.
gives you like an idea of what's going on. And then when you read comics, you see the little tension, the force push tension that normally you wouldn't see visually. And because we were in a very dark setting
Yeah.
where like the most of the light is from the lightsabers, I think that was good. At first, the very first one, it looked like he was throwing sand at her and she just stood there like
Yeah. She was just
nothing.
kind of like, what was that? What was that? What?
Yeah, what was that? You throwing sand at me? What's going on?
Yeah, but
Yeah, so that was
I
missed
like
the
that
mark
too.
on that. Yeah, that kind of missed the mark on that.
Right.
The very first
On the
one.
first
So
one.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I liked that because that's the kind of thing where like if that was released in like a mainline film, I feel like half
Mhm.
the fan base would be like, you can't do that. That's they never show it like that. And I would
Mhm.
agree, but I don't know. I feel like if they were to film it and they just do the regular back and forth, nothing visual with it, you can do
Mhm.
that. But I think that it doesn't hurt to have a little flair to it.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like the light changed anything, so
Yeah.
it's not the end of the world necessarily with that. But
Mhm.
I don't really have much more to say on it. I enjoyed that one. That was
Yeah,
a good one.
that was fun. Yeah, that was fun to watch. It stepped away from a lot of like what we normally see and stuff in a sense. I
Yeah,
did have a comparison with Allegiance with Mara Jade fighting Vader in the enclosed like in the meeting room, I guess you could say, and she used the lights to kind of to her advantage. Now
yeah,
that's just that's inside a building. They were basically there was no light for them at all because it was nighttime. So
yeah,
it was kind of interesting to see that contrast. I would refer back to the series with Kenobi in the dark. I think this was more visually pleasing, we using the saber
yeah,
and what light was available than the actual production with Vader versus Kenobi in their first fight.
yeah. I
That was
agree.
like me that I mean for being a professional production, that was a miss.
plus plus on top of that the guy and his voice being like a modulated kind of weird, it was different enough from ones that we hear a bunch of times in Star Wars
Mhm.
ones. It was
Yeah.
distinct, and the dialogue that is spoken is like I liked it. It wasn't it was a long it fits like a puzzle piece perfectly with Sith stuff without
Yeah.
repeating the same exact dialogue. The dialogue, if we're talking about Kenobi, was very generic. You did this to me. You should have
Yeah.
killed me. And just such the lines that are just like, yeah, I know these are what I would write down in a first draft and then change them later because that's just a placeholder until you can write better dialogue.
Yeah.
But in this, yeah, it was done really well there, and was able to give that sense of tension with her. And there's a lot of mystery with what he wants with her. It seemed is like,
Mhm.
yeah, you're training an apprentice, of course, but she seems to be that of a Jedi, and you're doing a lot to turn her, but you're not doing the typical stuff. His lightsaber wasn't red for once. I'm I'm glad for that too. Just I get, and her lightsaber was yellow instead of the classic blue and green that we always see or something. Just randomly, I just liked seeing that in there, just being a little different. It's going out of its way. It's very Star Warsy, but not copying and pasting everything. So,
yeah, exactly. It's a fresh
like
take to it. I will put the history, a little bit more history with sabers here. So the only reason why the Sith went red with the lightsabers was just to distinguish themselves from Jedi.
mm-hmm.
So like in the early times of like when they started, having the plasma, lightsabers basically, there was those colors there, and they used red just to distinguish themselves from the Jedi, and that's it. There's no significant of bleeding the crystal, and that's why it's red, like the Disney Star Wars has it, And like Leia's, her, like in the original, or her very first saber was red.
Yeah, that would make sense. And it would make sense too if Anakin didn't lose his saber to Obi-Wan and Revenge of the Sith, then he probably would have used the blue still.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine if that didn't
Mm-hmm.
happen. But yeah, that was good. Any last thoughts on this one?
Not really, other than that was refreshing. Got to see something a little bit different, a nice play with, contrast of light and dark with the sabers, and the pitch darkness and stuff, and him being menacing, and again, it kind of it brought you in. And then you're like, once he decided to use the force illusion on her, you're like, what's going on here? So you were still left in that suspense a little bit, but then you were almost taken out until bam, you're drawn back in, because he's like,
yeah,
she realized what he was doing and countered him mentally with the force.
Yeah.
And so that was good.
That was good. I guess I was worried because it's a fan film, and I was just like, oh no, what are they gonna clones or something? Oh no, what are they doing with this? But they restored my faith. That's what they did is actually a very thing that's very common in a lot of like stuff that I've seen before.
Subvert expectations, basically done right.
It's like they subverted it, but by not really subverting it either. Like it was just my own experience of seeing things made me jump to a conclusion that wasn't there. So good. Y'all did good on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a fun one, and I highly recommend to go back. And it's open ended, so I hope they do something. Yeah. I hope they can, do a part 2.
I don't know if they will. Their last video uploaded was 2 years ago, and it wasn't the Star Wars one, so this one was from 4 years ago.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think they will, but I'm glad it was still a one shot, done well on the internet one. More people hopefully will discover it now. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? With that, we'll see you guys later.